Okay, peeps, welcome back. So today we're going over our buys, sells, and dividends for the week of May 19th through May 25th. With that being said, let's get it. Okay, so first thing I want to go over with you guys before we go over the actual income portion is the crypto. So we're going to go over that first. So as you guys can see here, nothing has really happened in terms of the Grayscale Trust. We do still have our positions, which is Mana, ETCG, and HZN. At some point, we will add back to these. Just not really sure when that's going to be as of right now. Could be like a couple of weeks, could be a month. With whatever we do, we always try to be strategic about it. So, thinking ahead, planning ahead, stuff like that. So, as of right now, can't give you guys a definitive answer on that, but we still have the positions that we have, and realistically, we could just sell out of what we have and then use those proceeds to buy more Grayscale trusts if we really wanted to. Or pretty much what we told you guys from the beginning in terms of rotation of capital. So basically just move this money out of here, transferred it over to Robinhood. We've been buying a crap ton of dividend paying stocks and options in terms of cash secured puts and covered calls. We'll get into that in a minute, but that's pretty much what's going on right now. And we haven't, just because we have a little bit less than what we used to have in this Grayscale portfolio that we have, does not mean that we can not add money anytime we want to. If we wanted to, we could add a ton of money anytime we want to. Again, we're just trying to be strategic here. So anyways, so this is the native crypto portfolio. You guys can see the balance here. That is actually, we're down a little bit on the total balance because I can tell you guys right now our total cost basis is roughly about, let's say 80% higher than that number. So a little bit of cash, a little bit of USDC. So we got some Filecoin. The total amount that we currently have in Filecoin is actually $3,300 with an average cost basis of $850. But as you guys can see, the current price is down a little bit from our cost basis. Again, we're still waiting for this thing to rip. It hasn't really done much because we haven't seen an alt season yet, which could change very soon with the ETH spot ETFs. So we have AIOZ, Render, Dash, Banker Network, Crypto.com, which is an exchange token, Horizon, Scale, Engine Coin, that's a gaming token, Zcash. We do have some Ethereum. This is not all the Ethereum that we have, but it's just what we have here. A little bit of Litecoin. We do have some Algorand too, but it's also not here. So pretty much the buys that we had this week was Filecoin and Render. Okay, so we bought Filecoin, we bought Render. We've been averaging into Render, but we actually did a bulk buy on Filecoin, so we got rid of the graph. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the graph is gone from last time that we showed you a video of the portfolio. And pretty much what we did is we took the money from the graph and we basically just piled it straight into Filecoin, which reduced our cost basis by like $2 a token. So I'm going to show you guys that here on the primary balance. I'll have to go back over to the graph to actually show you what's going on here, but you guys can see that we pretty much bought like a ton, just basically bulk buy Filecoin. So 128 tokens for $800 at about average price of $616. So I actually have to look this token up since we don't have it anymore. That's kind of how this works. And, you know, perhaps at some point we will add Filecoin back. We're just kind of trying to concentrate down a little bit for the altcoin season because we kind of feel like maybe we have too many tokens at this point, which I don't know if that's even really possible, but that's kind of what we're thinking right now. We can always add it back later. So graph, you can see on the same day we got out, took a small profit here. So the profit was basically $16.69. Moved that into Filecoin. So if you guys are wondering if we're buying crypto or not, yes, we are. We are just not buying the Grayscale Trust at the moment. So Render here, we'll go over to the primary balance. Again, I think we have like 105 tokens or something like that in total. Yeah, so 105 here. You guys can kind of see some of our buys here. So I don't know why it's not showing the date here, but we'll just click on it anyway. So 21st, 20th. So this would be the 21st, and then 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. So basically just DCAing in consistently the same amount every day, irrespective of the price, so long as the price is below our cost basis, which currently it is. So as long as that's true, that the market price of the asset is lower than what our average cost basis is, and again, we do this in dividend paying stocks. You guys know how we do this. If that's the case, then we'll add to it if we think that it has a lot of upside potential. So that's crypto. Now let's go over to the dividend piece here. So basically, we got $7.62 from M1 Finance. You can see that from Real Assets here. Our RA is the ticker symbol, PSEC. Texas Instruments, we did actually used to own that. So trading here, nothing in terms of trading. Again, we've been focused more heavily on Robinhood, not so much on M1 Finance. We will eventually go back to M1 Finance and pile in some more money into that. Just not sure if that's going to be anytime soon. So the M1 Finance portion here is $7.64, as you guys can see. I actually need to add this 1669 here because I completely forgot to do this before the start of this video. So let's go ahead and get in. Oh wait, before Robinhood, let's actually go into Webull because we kind of keep forgetting to show you guys this on the video. Sorry about that. So no dividends here. Pretty much we just still have Clip, Aptly, and OARC. As you guys know, Clip pays at the end of the month. The Yield Max single stock ETFs pay at the start of the month. So no dividends there. Positions are still there. We have not moved anything. As you guys can see, the current market balance or current market price balance and the cash position we have, which is basically just dividends being invested, and we're not moving it as of right now. So that's that. So now we'll go over to the Robinhood one. So give me a second here. I need to make sure I got this right. So in terms of the positions, we'll get into the positions that we actually bought here in a minute, but just a quick synopsis. So the positions that we bought on Robinhood this week was AMC, FEPI, SPYT, which is like a slightly lower yielding Defiance ETF. It's one of the newer ones, but it has more of a stable price. So the dividend yield is lower, but the price is more stable in terms of market price. So we bought some SPYT or SPIT, if you want to call it that, some YMAX, QDTE. We bought some more triple QY and JEPY, and we also bought some MSDY. So in terms of the dividends, let's get into the dividends. So let's see which one I got here. It was TSLP was the first one. So you guys can see, of course, we have more TSLP, and Tesla is going up, and TSLP and TSLY are going up, so that's great. You guys can see this thing actually had a pretty big move, 3.5%, not bad, 68 cents. Still down a little bit, but again, in terms of being down, we did pull our cost basis down quite a bit. I think it used to be at like $27. Now we're down to 21. And so our cost basis coming down, the price going up is kind of closing that gap. So now we're only at negative 5% versus whatever we were at before, like negative 20 or something. So we added some shares too. But you guys can see here $6.58 from the TSLP ETF. And at some point in the future, we'll probably pick up the other ones too. I'm not really sure if we're going to do it in the immediate short term or not. But we kind of want to get a little heavier into the ones we already have first, and then maybe slowly add over time. Again, this is dividend investing. We're not trying to, pile in $1 billion, overnight or something like that. I mean, it's going to take time to build this kind of thing up. The dividend snowball takes time. So QDTE, we'll go down to this one. As you guys can see, we have a lot more shares of QDTE at this point, like really a lot more. And we're also actually in a small profit here on top of getting the dividends. So that's definitely an added bonus, I would say. So $5.30, as you guys can see, 22 hours ago. Again, this is weekly. So if this was to remain the same, which again, the dividend this week was much lower than last week. I think this week was 21 cents, which again is still pretty good. That's 85 cents a month. Whereas last week was 37 cents. 20 some dollars a month, still not bad. So in terms of the way that this thing has performed over time, I mean, it is down a little bit. a very, very small amount from the start. But again, you guys got to remember the markets have been kind of shaky the last couple of months because we blasted off for 6 months straight and then we had a pullback, which is normal. I mean, the parabolic move we had on the S&P and the NASDAQ and all that, I mean, we're just going absolutely bonkers. So it's not really surprising we had a pullback. So that's kind of what you're seeing here in the chart. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get into the buys. So first one I'm going to start here with is FEPI. You guys can see we have a total share count currently of 55 shares. So we have really been loading the boat seriously heavy on this one ahead of the dividends. I believe we're supposed to actually get like almost $70 in dividends for this month. So that's pretty cool. We're only down slightly, so less than 1%. That's actually not bad, to be honest. FEPI has held up its price pretty well considering how fat the dividend is. So if I go over here, you guys can see all time. We are actually up from the market session opening price from $51 to $54.49. So this thing actually has a price return of $5, not including the dividend, or 5%, I should say, not including the dividend. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. You can, okay, $64. You can see the pending dividend there. So 5 shares here on the 20th, 4.5 shares on the 21st, and 4.5 shares on the 22nd. So now I'm going to go back over here, go to SPYT. Okay, I'll just go out to the 1-year chart just so we can see this. Yeah, as you guys can see, well, okay, maybe not the 1-year chart. So it would appear that SPYT's opening price was roughly around $20, and we're pretty much at that exact same price that we were at before. So it's maintaining its price while still paying a pretty juicy dividend. Can't complain about that. Okay, so we got 34 shares here, as you guys can see. So pretty much this is the history right here. We got 25 shares on the 20th, 3 shares on the 24th, 6 shares on the 24th. Again, we were buying this ahead of the ex-dividend date, which is coming up. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, so I have it right here. So it should be the ex-dividend date for the Defiance ETF should be on the 3rd of next month. Okay, so let's get into the next one here. The next one's going to be YMAX. So we currently have 127 shares of this, which really is a lot. So we're only down slightly again on share price. That is not total return. That is just share price. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what was bought this week. Okay, so dividend back here, as you guys can see, was pretty huge, almost $80. Then after that, we picked up another 12.3 shares and 6.19 shares, as you guys can see there. Whoops, I did not mean to do that. And just so you guys know, yes, Robinhood does allow you to buy crypto on here. I'm sure you guys saw that tab up there, but yeah, you can buy crypto on here if you want to. It's just the selection's not going to be as wide of a variety as something like Coinbase or Robinhood or KuCoin or Binance or whatever. So just thought I'd throw that out there. So besides the dividend, we go up here. You guys can see 5 shares on the 20th, 6 shares on the 22nd, 5 shares on the 24th. So added quite a few this week. Go down to triple QY. So current share count is 63 and a quarter. As you guys can see, it has been a long time since we've added shares to this. Pulled down our cost basis a little bit, although the amount wasn't that significant because, again, we just added like a couple of times. We're not adding every single day like we are AMC. So you guys can see we bought 11.81 shares here yesterday, as a matter of fact. So JEPY, this is the other one. We could have also picked up IWMY, but again, we had a specific amount of capital in mind to allocate, and there is only so many of these different things that we can buy at once without spreading our money out too thin. So same thing with, what is this, JEPY. So pulled down our cost basis a little bit, still down quite a bit. But that's to be expected with these funds. Again, these are dividend-based funds. They're not growth-based funds. So 7.6 shares, as you guys can see there. I will tell you guys, however, that the total return that we have currently between the share price and the dividends, the total return for both of these funds are actually positive. So again, at some point we will get around to making a spreadsheet for y'all so y'all can see that, but it is actually positive in terms of total return. So if we sold, even though we would sell at a loss in terms of market value, we would still be positive. So MSTY, you guys can see this absolutely insane rip. Yesterday, this thing went up 7%. Excuse me. Again, that shouldn't really come as a shock because we're in a bull run for crypto. Pulled our cost basis down a little bit. We're currently down 15%, which is still a lot. But I mean, again, we don't really have that much in MSTY right now. So we bought 3.37 shares, as you guys can see here yesterday. So that's all of our buys. And we're basically trying to get this portfolio and the rest of our income-based portfolios and options premiums and stuff like that to where we can basically quit working and work full-time as self-employed and entrepreneurs and whatnot. That's kind of the goal. So in order to do that, we need to obviously fatten up the portfolios, right? So now let's go over the options premiums. Okay, so in terms of options premiums, we have FFIE cash secured put entry date on the 20th of this month. The expiration date is going to be 6/21/24, and again, that's $1.22 times 9, which yeah, off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly how much that is. It's a lot though. It's like $1,100 or something like that. I'll have the numbers here for you in a minute. So Mara cash secured put on May 21st. Exit date May 24th. So this one looked like it was actually going to close basically in the money. So we were going to be forced to buy the shares. We didn't want to do that. So we closed early for a small profit when we saw the price go back up. So got the $56, but then had to pay $39 to close. And basically just turn around and opened another put for next week. So Riot, 522 covered call. Expiration date 6/21. We got $155 in premium for this one. But because we were rolling the contract from another contract, it was actually only $21 in options premiums extra. So it cost us quite a bit to close it. And then again, we closed this one early for a small profit. So it cost us $4 to close. We walked away with $17 essentially. Mara cash secured put 523. Exit date 5/31, $57 times one contract. AMC 523, 531 exit date 17 times 6. So that's for 6 contracts. HUD 8, 523 covered call, 531 exit date, 22 times 1 contract. BTBT covered call, 523 exit date, 531 again, $5 times 7 contracts. SoFi covered call 524 exit date 67, $7 times 5 contracts. Riot covered call 524 exit date 531. $30 times 1 contract. HUD 8, 524 covered call 67 exit date, $25 times 1 contract. CLSK cash secured put 524 exit date 531, $40 times 1 contract. And Riot cash secured put 524 entry date 531 exit date, $21 times 1 contract. So in terms of the Robinhood dividends we got here, so we got $11.88. That's for Robinhood. Again, we don't usually get a lot of dividends this time of the month. So $7.64 from M1 Finance, $1,499 in options premiums. No crypto profits this week except for the graph. So $16.69, which I have to add on to these numbers here. So in terms of the total amount of money that we made this week was still actually really good. So $1,535, as you guys can see, if I were to times that, basically times 4, $6K a month, and then times 12, we'd be looking at nearly basically $74,000 a year. So anyways, this is our buys, sells, and dividends for the week. Hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all later. Peace.